There's a report coming out now. LeBron James has been putting together workouts for his team in secure locations around Los Angeles. I guess everybody's being tested. What have you heard about this? And is this a sign, basically, that this playoff and final from last year is definitely going to happen?
I think, in terms of like the supposed secret workouts and stuff like that, it's a rumor that's been floated a little bit. I think I can't confirm it, but I do know that LA, that there are places you could do this, right? There are teams that come to Los Angeles who don't do shoot-arounds at, public arenas, that don't do shoot-arounds at UCLA or wherever typically this stuff would happen. They go to like super rich guys' houses who have awesome gyms, right? And like they can do it there. And
that's awesome. What's super rich guys? What are some of the noted super rich guys who have great gyms that NBA teams come and work out at?
Yeah, I believe it's the founder of LA Gear is like
the light up shoes?
Yeah, that guy's got a nice hoop, and so I think like that's a thing. Like the Knicks do it, Pat. Like that's where the Knicks shoot around.
At the LA Gear house?
Yes.
That is awesome. How do we get a game? How do we get a run? Do you know the LA Gear guy? How do we get a run at that house? Oh. Did you see that little quick cross up?
Do you know LeBron? He's putting them together apparently. No, I think though. But I mean, I think honestly, like, look, like it seems like this is going to happen. I wrote a story. It's in today's paper. That basically, like, there's a ton of momentum. There's a lot of good plans to get this done. The only real problem is like, typically, if you're going to build a house, right, like you want to do it on really solid ground. You don't want to be on like shaky sand. And their plans are all built on sand just because it's just like 2 bad weeks of information and poof, like it could all fall apart. And I think that's why information is constantly changing. And the stuff that we're hearing sometimes is maybe 3 or 4 days old, and things can change in 3 or 4 days.
We were told by, the world was told by Buck's co-owner that says the NBA will be back in the next 6 to 8 weeks. We talked to Mark Cuban yesterday. He said Orlando and Disney seem like the place they're going to be home because Disney is a massive partner of the NBA. It feels like now you talk to Mark, he seems as if he said he's not a part of that conversation, but it feels his optimism there. Now the Bucks co-owner is saying, here we go. What are the official next steps? I would assume that not everybody has a chance to go play at the LA Gear guy's house. How would they make it fair for people that don't have access to these gyms? And what will the teams have to do? And do they even give a damn if it's fair? It's like, hey, we got to do what we got to do in times like this.
Yeah, they're going to put some people at the British Knights guy's house. They're going to put some other people the Spalding shoe guy. Like, it's not as big of a house, but he's going to have some too. No. I think kind of the next steps. I mean, it's interesting you mentioned the owners, right? Like some of what I've heard, at least some of what Mark Lazary said is like kind of not exactly like the freshest information again. That like, mid-July is sort of the target right now. But maybe that's a little early. Who knows? I think for games, that is. But everybody still feels like games are going to probably happen. I think the next step is you got to get everybody back to where their teams are, right? Like you've got guys that went home. Like Dwight Howard just did a conference call with people here in L.A. He's in Atlanta, right? So he's got to come back to L.A. You've got to get all these guys, and then they've got to quarantine for a little bit, get tested, and then you can kind of start to have practices. And the first practice isn't going to be 15 guys in the gym either. Like they're going to be incremental steps. So that stuff all still has to happen. Like it's one of the things to me, Pat, that is like still like it's hard for me to wrap my head around is, you like everybody always tells me like games are going to happen. It's going to happen. Like I haven't heard from an NBA owner or an executive yet that's like, I don't think this is going to get done. Everybody seems to think it is. But then you hear what people have to go through to just even walk into a gym and shoot a basketball right now. And you're like, it's crazy. Like Jared Dudley said, it's like going to the hospital. Like you've got to wear your mask. They check your temperature outside. Like you've got one guy inside who can touch the basketball. Only one guy.
Well, and that's why people are saying that LeBron's putting these private workouts together is because whenever they go in the NBA facility, there's all this. There's like a 16-page guideline or something on everything you can do. There has to be a hygiene manager at the facility. Yep. They have to do all this thing. So LeBron putting together these side games, it feels as if, unlike the MLB, the stars, LeBron, Chris Paul, I believe others, Russell Westbrook. It feels like the stars of the NBA are the reason why this is going to eventually happen, because you got Blake Snell on his Twitch stream like, yo, I got to get mine, dog. And he talks about all the financial hit it would be for him. He doesn't know how many throws he's got in his arm and everything. But in the NBA, you got LeBron like, all right, we'll just go rent out the Starberry house. We'll play over there. We won't even worry about this. We'll get tested. That feels as if that is why this is happening, is 100% because it's a player-driven type motive almost.